Hey, what's going on there, YouTube?
What's up, everyone?
I cannot believe what we just watched. Without further ado, this is our review for the movie Whiplash from 2014, starring J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons has been nominated for Best Supporting Actor for this role, and I believe he actually won the Golden Globe for the Best Supporting Artist for this as well. I'm going to read a brief synopsis before I just wig out and geek out on this whole entire thing. A promising young drummer enrolls at a cutthroat music conservatory where his dreams of greatness are mentored by an instructor who will stop at nothing to realize a student's potential. That in a sense is a spoiler, but it's not. This movie had limitless potentials on the realms of mental, verbal, strengthening, and abuse. It's a blurred line with this movie, and I mean, I'd never seen anything quite like it. Me and my mother and Joe, we looked at it, and we highly enjoyed it. We never seen anything like it. I think when people look at this movie, anybody that's had somebody to really push you to your limits, or maybe if you've gone through like abuse in a certain kind of way that was a self-motivating abuse that pushed you to go beyond what you thought capable of yourself, then this is the movie that's going to either one, put you under heavy stress or explore the things that you've gone through your own psychological profile. Before we go into like the cinematics and the visuals and stuff like that, how did you like the movie, Joe?
The movie was awesome. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was an amazing movie, amazing film.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job as far as a lot of things that probably went to the extreme, but I think it does capture, like, you know, the kind of like the stress levels it is for musicians.
Yeah.
Especially when want to be successful. So, you know, for the hours of practice they put in, things like that, you definitely, you know, it makes you really have. Watching that movie makes you have like a greater, profound respect for musicians as a whole. Yeah,
absolutely. There are certain cues, and this is us going into the visuals for this. The cinematography for this was beautiful.
Yeah.
I had to read up the person who was the senior cinematographer. It was Sharon Muir. She's had certain things in the past, but I never certain visuals like this, because there was a certain moment where you see the main character and he's beating on the drums, and it's to the point that you see blood and literally sweat on the drums at a certain kind of motion. So there's points where you see the drums actually hitting, but then you see them slow down and repurpose to the next pitch. And it's just positioned so well. But then it's not just scenes of when the actual band is playing or when you see the main character. Even J.K. Simmons, in the way that you capture his visuals, when he's actually articulating his words or getting in somebody's face, or even there was a moment where there was a car crash that you didn't expect in the most random of moments, the way it's captured from a cinematic perspective, it was beautiful. Like, I had never seen certain angles in a movie like this. I mean, I've seen, like, when Disturbia came out, when the first part of Disturbia came out, there was a certain scene that happened, and it was really crazy how it happened, but it was really captured very well. And it was kind of a shock factor. For this, you captured the mental stress on deeper levels that you wouldn't expect to be captured by film. Like, there was a point where somebody was getting yelled at by J.K. Simmons' character, and he was fussing at him, and you see the guy just painting his eyes straight down. And to the point that you see now J.K. Simmons right here, and you get to feel it and emote with it when it's actually coming out, and this is so crazy. What did you think about the visual effects for this? I had to give it a 10, honestly, just cinematic-wise.
Definitely. Cinematography was amazing. Definitely they captured just like him, like the feel of being in like a classroom setting, like especially like a studio setting, like when the students were coming in like early in the morning, the lighting was just amazing. You felt like you were in the classroom yourself. You know, it felt like you were there. Also, the cinematographer did a good job capturing the intricate parts of the instruments. Like while he was drumming, you could see dust particles flying off the drum. It was just like, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
And I think that another thing we have to address is the music for this one, because the music sets the tone for the stuff that was going on. Like, there's always a beat of the drum that's going on in a continuous way. And when I looked at Birdman, finally. I think I'm gonna do a review for that eventually when me and Joe look at it together. But one of the things about it is there was a consistent drum with it. But with this movie, there are certain quiet moments and there are certain peak moments. But then when you actually hear the studio band really play to the beat of their full capacity, or even like another point that happens towards the end of the movie, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'd love to have the soundtrack just to hear, because when I hear it, I can literally visualize what I'm watching. I can't believe what I'm watching. Even from taking an actor to do something like this on a musician level, like, just the capture is just amazing from a score level and a cinematic level. So, like, praises to the people that actually did the sound mixing and who did the audio for this one. It was really well done. So let's go ahead and step into the actors. J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller. Miles Teller is the person that plays the main characters, and name's Andrew. And Andrew is an ambitious guy, but Andrew has so many layers that you don't see until the midway mark of the beginning of the movie. When he starts to show the levels of passion about drumming and wanting to be great, you're looking at, okay, why does he want to be great? Who are his parents? Like, what is his life circumstances that drove him to be this person that needs to have this goal of being an amazing musician? Like, why does this drive there? Then he meets Fletcher, who is J.K. Simmons. And from there on, it is literally a fist fight. Like, a mental fist fight throughout their whole entire thing. There are mind games that are played. So, I mean, I don't know, who do I compliment, Joe? Because I don't know whether I should compliment the screenwriters and the screenplay or the script, or should I compliment the actors? I think it has to play hand in hand. Because anybody can give somebody some words to read, but how you articulate it and how you drive in it, you have to memorize it and then make it your own. And J.K. Simmons makes it his own. He owns up to the most epically evil douchebag of a person that you can tell there are levels and facets of needing to pick out greatness out of things that don't seem like they have it. And you don't know if that outweighs his douchebagness or his evilness to try to bring this character to such a terrible level. And I think that even with Andrew, the thing that I could say about these actors that was so amazing is that I literally felt every piece of it. I remember where I was like coached by somebody that was really close to me, and they put me through a lot of verbal and mental abuse, and the mind games, they can cripple you. They can bring you to the aspect where you don't even know if this is worth it to lose yourself to it. You know what I'm saying? For me, I had to bow out. But Andrew was the type that he didn't have anything to bow out to, and he didn't need to have that. And the way that Miles Teller does the acting, he should have got a nomination of something, at least with the Golden Globes. But I mean, I can understand because there's a lot of people that did amazing roles this year. But I mean, by far, I'd never seen anything like this interaction with these two comics. I mean, not that everybody else didn't play their role. Every other people were in this movie, but they really don't matter. They really don't matter to me. Gosh, J.K. Simmons, man, he's gonna win that Oscar. That's all I can say. Joe, talk about acting, because I'm trying not to geek out.
So you brought up J.K. Simmons. I'm gonna talk about Miles Teller, who plays Andrew. I mean, definitely the movie starts, I was like, you know, what is this movie gonna be about? I know it's about the drummer, you know, it's trying to be a great drummer. But however, like, he starts off and his character's like literally a scrub. You're like, this guy, alright, this movie is not going to be serious. No, he doesn't look like, you know, he can do anything. Like, I'm just like, this guy really? You know what I'm saying? He starts off, like, the first scene starts off with him actually on the drums. And he's actually doing really good. But his professor comes in, or soon to be professor comes in and just, like, bashes him. So you're like, alright, this guy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's good, you know what I'm saying, but I don't know too much about music, you know? Who am I? I'm just, you know, average Joe, you know? So I don't know if this guy is good on a musician level. Like, he's good to me, but I can't play drums, you know what I'm saying? But so as a professor just bash him, I think the guy's, you know, just a scrub in his music you know, building. But actually, I mean, he kind of is. He's like a backup drummer in his prerequisite class. So I'm like, all right, this guy is definitely a scrub. Like, we can go ahead and just write him off right now. But no. About midway in the movie, like, this guy definitely, you see that drive just come out of him. You know, this big bad professor, you know, is coming at him like in ways you think are like literally crazy.
Yeah. And
he responds back, and he's just like, he's getting like more hostile towards the professor. Like, yo, like I'm gonna play, like whether you let me or not. Like, I'm gonna play, and it's crazy.
Himself, man.
He loses himself, but at the same time, you see him rise up to a position where he's like,
well, this is the thing.
He's like, look, man, I'm ready. He's confident. You see it in midway of the movie. He's confident about his ability. He wants it.
But there's a fine line though, Joe. And we're not debating necessarily, but
right.
This guy, he goes through so much that he feels as though I've earned this because I've bled for this. There was a scene that happens, and you see J.K. Simmons torturing this boy and saying, look, you got two other people, they're going to take your spot regardless of what you do. You can't do anything. You're nothing. You know what I'm saying? But he makes every single one of them drum for hours to the point that their hands are bleeding everywhere. And, I mean, it's just such an amazing scene. But the thing is, he comes out of that on a subconscious level saying that I've earned this versus I am this gifted and I can do this. Don't just sit there and counsel me out just because you have a nitpick about who I can be. You don't define me, you know what I'm saying? If he had said that, that'd be one thing, but what he starts going off is like, no, I'm better than this person. I can do this better than this. I've earned this. This is my title. I think that there was a breaking point that Miles Teller does through his acting performance in this one, that when he breaks, when he really does actually really break from the stuff that happened to him, and he comes back, then you see, okay, he owns it. And that's the part that I feel like he excelled at. Because I felt like, man, this dude coming off all wrong. I mean, he's all jacked up because he had to lose himself to everything that he felt like he needed to hold on to try to become great. But then when he became great, he ended up coming onto his own. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he still had to find himself, what I'm trying to say. But yeah, it's awesome acting, man. Oh my gosh.
But it was good to see him stand up to his professor. That's
yeah,
definitely.
I mean, the dude's a douche, man. He's terrible, man. He was a terrible person. I found out, Joe, that Damien Chazelle, he's the writer, director, and he also does cinematography. But this was a short film first. They got a lot of awards, and then he made this into like a motion picture. And I think J.K. Simmons was the band teacher initially, but then now on the live scale, this is where he's got this. The dude's only 29 years old. Like, dude, credits to you for writing this, man. And amazing directing for this because, I mean, I honestly don't want to go too much into the story. I'm sorry I revealed a certain scene that kind of happens, but it's a visual scene. Like, me describing it to you is not going to paint a picture for you in such a way that when you're experiencing it, I had to leave at one point, y'all. I had to leave the film and let Joe and my mom watch it because it started hitting me on such a level. And when a movie can hit you here and make you feel something and make you reminisce or even feel a certain thing, then it's doing its job. You know what I'm saying? And it hit me. It hit me hard, you know, and I'm still trying to recover from it, but we just saw it and we wanted to go and talk about it. I'm not going to talk about the story. I'm not going to even go into the story. Anything you want to leave on it?
No. Shout out to all the performing arts students, the dancers, musicians, artists out there watching this, especially those in school, those not in school. Shout out, big ups to you guys. Stay on the grind.
Yeah, I guess the biggest lesson is that you can rise from any adverse location, or even when you think you can't be something, like there's always greatness in each of us. For a certain thing that you're having to drive for, it might come out, you know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to push yourself. And anybody's pushing you in the wrong kind of way, or even if somebody that seems like they're abusing you, what doesn't kill you will make you strong. That's why I feel like, I guess, the moral compass of this whole entire thing. But there's a lot of different stuff that's going on the mental level for this. But yeah, I get a 10 out of 10.
Definitely.
I can't give it anything less than that.
Definitely.
I saw no faults with it. It was believable. I feel like this guy is Andrew and J.K. Simmons is Fletcher, like the terrible teacher. And I mean, they become these characters. I mean, I don't know. It was amazing. Anyway, this is our review for Whiplash 2014. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and if you enjoyed this review, please leave your like below. And if you got any comments, please let us know. If you have any recommendations for anything you want us to talk about, we can go into it. I think I'm gonna maybe do like a review over the Academy Awards. I want to go into talking about that. But we got a lot of movies lined up. We've got we're gonna be looking at Unbroken. We're gonna be looking at American Sniper, maybe Black Hat, and I think what was the other one? Birdman. So yeah, we might be having those reviews, maybe not. But yeah, look for it. This is SEO0320 signing out.
I'll let you know.
Later, y'all. Peace.